Continuing with Billet, he also has another reason for saying there is no such thing as informal learning. He has strong objections to the term informal because all learning, according to him, takes place within social organizations or communities that have formalized structures. So two things we need to focus on: social organizations and communities. There has to be a group, and the group a child begins to learn with is the family. So it begins with the family. The close nuclear family, the parents, the siblings, the extended family, the grandparents, the aunts, uncles, cousins, and all that. Later on, getting out into the community, the society. And once the child hits school, it then comes down to friends and friendship. So unless there is a social context, unless people are gathered together, according to Billet, learning will not happen. You cannot put an individual, isolate an individual, and expect that individual to learn. And that is why Billet believes informal learning cannot happen. You have to have a group of individuals, and then within that group, the second thing is you have to have some formalized structure. If in a class of 20, 4 students want to do history and 5 students want to do science and 3 students want to do math, it's not going to work. So you have to have some formalized structure, and in our schools we have it in terms of the timetable. There is a daily schedule. What happens in the morning, what happens at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and so on and so forth for the entire school day. This formal structure helps individuals learn, because then at a particular time they know what they are going to learn, they know the content, they know the subject matter, and hopefully they will be ready to pick up the things from the teacher. Never addresses the term non-formal, but the logic of his argument is that learning cannot be non-formal either, because he believes in structure, and how much structure only the teacher can determine, or the school, or the group. There are structures even in families. Even families, there is times to get up, there are times to go to bed, there are times when we have breakfast and lunch and dinner, there are times when things happen. And that's the structure even with families. And similarly with schools, the structure is there. How much structure is needed and how tightly the structure is held depends in school upon the teacher, the instructor, or the trainer, the adult in charge. I have to decide. I need to know how much freedom, how much leeway I'm willing to give the students. Because as the teacher, I know my students best. So no matter what somebody from the outside says, I have to make that final decision. And that is why the teacher's role in formal and non-formal education is absolutely critical. The teacher determines how much the student will learn, how well the student will learn, how much the student will remember, and most importantly, how much the student will be able to use of what the teacher has taught. If use cannot happen, if the student is not able to apply the learning to new, different situations, learning has no benefit for the student or the teacher. Application is critical. And with application, of course, comes analysis, synthesis, evaluation, and those higher order thinking skills, which I think our teachers need to promote in our schools, in our classrooms, with our students, instead of simply focusing on the who, what, when, and where questions. The how and the why questions must be asked at all levels. Even young children are capable of telling you why they are doing something and how they are doing something. The problem really is we never ask them that. We ask, what are you doing? We never ask them, why are you doing this? Or how are you doing it? So the key really is in the higher order how and why questions that teachers should ask of their students.